You wake up with a strange ache, not in your muscles, not in your chest, but somewhere deeper, just beneath your skin. You scroll your phone, notifications, ads, women, money, motivation. Every screen screams the same thing. You're not enough. But you could be. And just like that, the chase begins. You tell yourself it's ambition, but it's not. It's addiction. Modern men aren't led by purpose anymore. They're puppets pulled by desire, desire crafted in boardrooms, shaped by algorithms, and disguised as self-improvement. Carl Jung saw this trap long ago. He called it possession by the collective unconscious. When you no longer think your own thoughts, but the world's thoughts think you. You chase money, not for freedom, but to feel worthy. You chase women, not for love, but to fill a void. You chase success, not to grow, but because you're terrified to stand still. Desire becomes the master, and you, the slave. But here's the tragedy Jung uncovered. Every man, possessed by desire, is trying to outrun something within, a wound, a fear, a forgotten self. This is where real transformation begins, not in chasing more, but in turning inward, because beneath all that noise, beneath the hunger and the hustle, is a deeper self, one untouched by trends or trauma, one that already knows who you are. Jung's path wasn't about killing desire. It was about reclaiming your soul from it, and to do that, you must first step into the shadows. What if the part of you you've spent your whole life hiding is the very part that holds your power? There's a side of every man he's taught to fear. The part that gets angry, the part that feels envy, the part that wants to scream instead of smile. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the collection of everything you've been told not to be. You buried it, because it was too much, because you wanted to be liked. Because you thought being good was the same as being strong. But here's the truth. The more you reject it, the more it controls you. You see it in the quiet men who explode when no one's looking, in the confident ones who secretly feel like frauds, in the overachievers who crumble when the applause stops. The shadow doesn't disappear. It waits. It leaks through sarcasm, addiction, rage, and if you don't meet it, it'll run your life from the dark. But if you do, everything changes. You become whole, not nice, not ruthless, but real. You walk differently. Not with arrogance, but with presence. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for existing. Because you're no longer at war within. To meet the shadow is to reclaim the parts of you that were never broken, only buried. This isn't self-help. This is initiation. Every man must enter that cave alone. And when he does, he finds not a monster, but a throne. But to sit on it, he must face the part of himself he fears most, and only then is he ready to meet what waits even deeper. There are two of you. One wants to conquer the world, the other wants to understand it. One wants attention, validation, control. The other craves silence, depth, and truth. Jung believed this tension lives in every man, the clash between the ego and the self. The ego is loud. It wants to be seen. It wants to win. It wants the car, the body, the woman, the empire. But the self, it whispers. It doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it simply waits for you to remember. The modern world feeds your ego until it starves your self. You scroll endlessly, not because you care, but because your ego needs constant proof that you matter. You flirt, not out of love, but to avoid the ache of being unseen. You grind, not from passion, but because slowing down would force you to feel. And underneath it all, the self watches, quiet, patient, eternal. It's the voice that asks, who are you when no one is watching? What would you do if you weren't afraid? What do you want not to impress, but to live? Most men silence that voice, because to listen means to lose what the ego built, But Jung's truth is this: the ego must bow, not break. When the ego serves the self, desire no longer enslaves you. It fuels you. Your hunger becomes purpose. Your drive becomes clarity. And your ambition becomes sacred. This is not weakness. It's power with roots. The world doesn't need another man chasing more. It needs one man who knows who he is. There's a moment every man must face. Not when he wins, not when he loses, but when he realizes that neither was ever the point. After all the striving, after all the masks, comes a terrifying silence. You sit alone in your room. You've achieved things, sure. People respect you, maybe even fear you. But inside there's a hollow thud, like something precious was lost along the way. This is the threshold Jung called individuation. Not a breakdown, but a breakthrough. The world tells you to become someone, but your soul is asking you to become yourself. And this path? It's not glamorous. There are no medals, no likes, no shortcuts. It's about meeting the child you left behind, the one who was wild, curious, unafraid to feel, before the conditioning, before the armor. It's about facing your shadow and forgiving what you once called weakness. It's about letting go, not of ambition but of attachment. And slowly, something shifts. You begin to act, not to impress but to express. You speak, not to be heard, but because silence would betray your truth. You lead, not to control, but to serve something greater than yourself. This is what Jung meant by the self becoming whole. Not a perfect man, but an integrated one. He is not ruled by craving. He is not swayed by applause. He stands firm, not on ego, but on essence. This is the man who walks into a room and doesn't need to prove a thing, because he's made peace with every part of himself. He doesn't chase love, he embodies it. He doesn't hunt power, he radiates it. He doesn't demand respect, he becomes undeniable. This man is rare, not because he's better, but because he did what most men fear. He looked inward and refused to run, and when a man reclaims himself from the claws of desire, he becomes a mirror. Others feel safer, stronger, seen, not because he saved them, but because he reminded them that they could save themselves. In a world drowning in distraction, the man who walks with clarity is a revolution. So if you feel the ache, don't numb it. If you feel the pull, don't resist it. Because that pain you carry, it's not weakness, it's the invitation. You weren't made to serve desire. You were made to embody depth. And the moment you accept that, the mind clears, the noise fades, and the sovereign within you returns. Powerful call to action. Don't chase the world. Become the man it was waiting for.